Hi, how's it going? My name is Casey. I'm the resident sound designer at Venice Theater. And today I'm going to be taking you through building some sound effects for theater. I'm going to take you through a sound effect that I made for a show called Guys and Dolls that we finished up a few weeks ago. Talk about my decisions, why it sounds the way it sounds, its context within the script. So let's jump into Ableton and we'll get to it. Okay, so here we are in Ableton, and the sound effect that we're going to be working on today is the sound of some gunshots and glass shattering. So the context for this is there's an actor on stage talking on the phone with another character. The actor for the other character is off stage, and he has a filter applied to his microphone to sound like it's speaking on the other end of the phone. So during that phone call, we hear these gunshots and the glass shattering, and then they continue with their conversation. So what I've done already is I've selected some files that I want to use. I found these three different gunshots that I like the sound of, and then this is the sound of some glass shattering. I've already edited these down a little bit. I've added some fades here just to get rid of any unnecessary audio that I don't really need for this current purpose. So I've also kind of placed them out in the order and the timing and the rhythm that I want to hear them. So let's just hear what this sounds like. Okay. So that's what that sounds like. Now, we need to do a few things to this to make it sound the way I need it to sound, like it's coming over a phone. So first thing I've done is I've grouped all of these tracks together over here on the right side. You can see that right here. And what this is going to do is it allows me to treat all of these sound files in the same way. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add what's called an equalizer to these sound files. And you can see down here in the corner here, this little box called a plugin, and a plugin is a miniature program that runs within an audio software that allows you to do one specific processing technique. So using this equalizer, I'm going to mimic what a phone does and limit the bandwidth of what you can hear over the phone. So telephones only allow a very small amount of sound to go through, and it's usually around the 1 kilohertz mark. Different phones sound different, and there's different ways to achieve this, but we're going to try this. So here's what this sounds like. All right. I want a little bit more high end in there. Let's try this. All right. I like that. All right, next thing we need to do is we need to add some distortion to this. Telephones aren't very clean, and they tend to add a little bit of crunch to the signal. So I'm going with this plugin called Pedal, and what this does is it emulates sort of like guitar amplifier distortion just a little bit. So let's just start with the lowest setting on this and see what this sounds like. Okay, not bad. It's a little too much for my taste. So down here we see this little dry wet knob. We're going to take this down to 50. What this is doing is it's blending the distorted sound and the original sound. All right, that sounds great. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to make this sound like it's coming from a little bit of a distance away. So I'm going to add a little bit of reverb to this. Here I have a reverb plugin. And I already know that the base setting for this is going to be a little bit too much. So there's two knobs that I'm going to adjust here. One is called size, and then one is dry wet, which is similar to what this one does over here. So I'm going to take the size down to make the size of the room smaller. All right, that's pretty close. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to take the dry wet down a little bit. Great. So now there's one small issue with this. The order in which these are happening is these sound files are getting equalized, then distorted, then we're adding some reverb to it. But the problem is the reverb would happen on the other side of the phone. So we need to put this reverb on this side of everything. I'm going to take the dry wet down just a little bit more. Great, I'm happy with that. So the last thing that we need to do to this is we sort of need to marry all of these elements together and make it just a little bit louder so that it's optimized to be played back during the show. I'm going to use this plugin. It's called Glue Compressor. This is emulating some fancy analog gear that you might see in a high-end recording studio. So by taking down my threshold, I'm adjusting when the compressor starts to act. And what this is doing is it's sort of pressing all of the different elements together to make it sound like one cohesive element. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is use some makeup gain, which is going to make the entire signal a little bit louder. Okay, great. I'm happy with this, and we can go ahead and export it and get it ready to use with the show. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed seeing this little insight into making a quick sound effect. You can keep up with Venice Theater at venicetheater.org, and be sure to check out the Facebook page for all of our current updates. Thanks.